Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to have a little chat about just what makes the Indomitus box so popular. Because I was talking to Barry over the weekend. He's up there in his place of honour. That's not true. I wasn't talking to Barry. That would be weird. He is a small plastic orc from 3rd edition, by the way, which means he is the same age as, I believe last time it was 2.5% of the people who watch this channel. So there you go. I imagine a lot of you probably feel quite old now. Indomitus, massively popular, insanely popular, stupidly popular. I'm getting cramp in my leg. Oh dear God. Anyway, the question is, why is it as popular as it is? Because this is like the best Games Workshop have done in terms of a box. They've done ridiculous numbers with this thing. They sold out pretty much instantly. They've shifted it to made to order. A figure that's floating around, which is apparently from a Games Workshop store manager, which I've seen quoted so many times. There may be some variance to this in terms of how accurate it is. It could just be a local number, but the reckoning is more Indomitus boxes sold in the last week and a bit than Dark Imperium sold in 3 years. Now, here's the thing. Indomitus is a good box. Without a doubt, it's a good box. There are some cracking models in there, and of course, the value when you compare it to buying all these things separately is kind of good. Let's be honest. You've got 6, 7, 8, I don't know what I'm doing. 6, 7 HQs in that box. You've got the captain, you've got the ancient with the banner, you've got the Judicar, you've got the chaplain, there's the Scorpec destroyer, there's the Necron equivalent of the lieutenant, and there's the Plasmancer. I think that's all of them. So that's 7 HQs. There may be more. I may have just forgotten one, but those by themselves, if we assume 20 to 25 quid, which is the standard for an HQ model off Games Workshop site, that is already a considerable amount of value for this box, especially when you consider that the rulebook is in it as well, which is another 30 to 40 quid. Rough estimations on price, because I can't remember the cost of everything on the everything in the catalogue. Just close approximations is fine. No matter how you shake it, though, it's good value for money compared to buying the stuff separately. Which, again, I always clarify that, because if you say good value, someone invariably goes, well, actually, compared to getting a model from this company, it's not good value. Compared to Games Workshop, compared to buying it separately, closed ecosystem for the purpose of this video. Anyway, definitely good value. The models themselves are good. There are some, as I say, cracking models in there. It feels like the Primaris half is literally aimed entirely at the people who feel like Primaris are not Space Marine-y enough. You've got Assault Intercessors. Chainswords are back, baby, and we like it. You've got the Gadeblard? What the actual... You've got the Blade Guard Veterans, which it's like someone just looked at me and went, okay, he loves Stern Guard, so we'll just make Stern Guard with swords and shields, with a skeleton on it. Yeah. I can't complain about that. I like them a lot. The Necron half, it literally feels like someone just looked at me personally and went, that dude needs an excuse to get Necrons again. So how about we go right back to 3rd edition, we take up the cosmic horror angle once again, and we make Necrons creepy and weird. Yes, thank you. That's all I want. I'll take it. And indeed, I have organised the Necron half of one of the boxes. So it's clearly worked in that regard. Also, limited edition. Limited edition often counts for a lot. Not always. Not always. Looking at you, Blood of the Phoenix. And Lumineth as well, weirdly. Limited edition does add a bit in. I mean, I suppose technically Blood of the Phoenix wasn't necessarily a limited edition. It was only available for a limited time, but it wasn't like a one-day thing. So, I don't know. The fact that it was limited obviously will play a factor. But all of that, still all of that together, it feels like doesn't quite explain why it was so massively popular straight off the bat. To the point where they went, oh wow, okay, we really didn't expect you to want this as much as you did. Here, have it made to order. There's a lot going on there in terms of the actual box itself, which obviously does account for a good number of sales. But more than Dark Imperium did in 3 years? Is it that good? Is it that good a box? They've said it's the best box they've ever made. I mean, I think it probably is, but is it so good that it warrants that level of popularity? I don't think it's just down to the box is the thing. This is what I've kind of landed on, having thought about this for a bit, because I think there's other factors for sure with this. First of all, the marketing for the box was, I would say, very good. I think they did a really good job with the marketing. From a detached standpoint of, did you successfully get a shed load of people to buy your product? Yes, they did. They did something which I thought worked super well, which I did see a few people being cynical about, but I don't think you need to be cynical about it. There was a point where they had the community team actually open up the box itself and look through the sprues and talk about the bits they're excited about. And I did see a few kind of cynical eyebrows. Kind of like, oh, well, they would say that. They work for them. They would be excited because they work for them. They would say that they want all this stuff because they work for them. And they do. And that is a reason to say that you are looking forward to something, because the company that you work for is making it and you're being paid to say that. But I think that also shows a distinct misunderstanding of exactly how Games Workshop goes about hiring people. Because people on the community team, obviously they have the qualifications to do what they do, but they are also massive fans of Games Workshop. That is one of the driving factors behind a significant amount of the staff at Games Workshop, especially the public-facing ones. They employ people who are already invested. So when Nick or Peachy or Adam or Ben are like holding up things that they're looking forward to, they're not just doing it because Games Workshop has said, say you're looking forward to this. It's because a quick glance at any of their personal Twitters will immediately show that they are completely invested. They're not just being paid to talk about this. Their hobby is also their job as well. When it comes to stuff like that, when it comes to things like the streams that they did like during lockdown, where they've been doing the hobby hangouts and stuff, you are being paid to paint models in that instance. But there is clearly a passion there. There is clearly an enthusiasm there that you kind of, that Games Workshop knows exists, and they use that to their benefit. And it works. It's a very good system. I mean, hell, you can go to Warhammer World. Well, you can't right now, sadly. Well, you can go to the shop, but go into Warhammer World, right? You go into the hall, you're having a game, you decide on a whim, not that I've ever done this, obviously, that it would be massively irresponsible. You decide on a whim, I'm going to go and buy a Leviathan and a Contemptor from Forge World. Again, I've never done this. It's not true. This is exactly what I've done. And you go into the Forge World shop and you go, yeah, I'm going to buy this and that and the other, and you buy the thing you want. You get the thing off the shelf. You go to the till. Easily 9 times out of 10, when I've been to Forge World shop, there has been models on the counter off to the side that someone is working on whilst they are behind the till. Games Workshop hire people who like Games Workshop. It's a win-win situation. They get people who want to be there and who will willingly spend some of their pay on the products that they are working to sell. Really, you can't go wrong with that. The community team is a great example of this, where they are hobbyists who are dedicated to their armies, to their painting, to their modelling, and to Games Workshop, but they're also being paid to be there. They're being paid to do a specific job. When it came to the streams, part of that job was promoting Indomitus, and they did it exceptionally well because there was clear and honest enthusiasm for the thing that they had. That feeds so well into the FOMO angle. The FOMO angle is the fear of missing out. You need this box. It's limited. You won't be able to get it again. It will never be made again. You need it right now. Don't forget to buy it. We've made plenty, but remember, if it goes, you won't be able to have it. And you do want it. Look at all the shinies. Look at them glow. Oh, all of that. They really pushed that, which is a method of marketing that they've used before and will use forever and a day whilst it continues to work. And it does work because then we buy the thing. It all feeds into that. Now, that by itself will account for a lot of like how popular the box was. But I still think that there is one bit left that doesn't account for it. So, or at least when I say doesn't account for it. So we've got the quality of the models. The models look great, people are excited. The actual armies in the box, people are excited about those armies. Primaries are massively popular, no matter how many YouTube comments you read saying people hate them. They still sell absurdly well. It's just one of those bubble things where in a certain area of the hobby, you'll hear people go, no, they're terrible, no one likes them, but that's not actually true. So you've got the quality, the contents, you've got the savings, you've got the marketing. There is another factor that I think, the fact it's a new edition, we'll add that in. New edition will always bring in some extra sales because people are excited. There is, however, I think, for this one, a perfect storm scenario, a perfect situation has arisen here, where you've got the current situation just everywhere. COVID has had a ridiculously frustrating and wide-reaching impact on pretty much everybody. And we are in a weird time where everything is uncertain. Things are kind of opening back up again, things are going back to normal, you can go and do stuff you could do before and all of that, which is fine, we're getting there slowly. Whether we should be opening back up again is a matter that is up for debate somewhere that isn't here, because, no, we're not getting into that. Dear God, no. This feels like the perfect time to launch this box, because we are in a position where distractions are key. Distractions are things that we crave. Things to get away from how weird and abnormal and odd and just frustrating and endless the current situation feels. There's been the stopping of production and shipping by Games Workshop, which had a massive impact on, what you're able to get hold of. There was that halt in hobby for a few people where you just couldn't get the things you needed. Places stopped making stuff, they stopped shipping stuff. There is a dry spell in terms of new releases, all caused by the pandemic. There is a dry spell in terms of previews and stuff that we're going to see in the future. The pandemic literally, do you mind? The pandemic literally caused business as usual for Games Workshop to suddenly cease being a thing. And then it came back. And then it came back in such a way that it immediately ramped up too. You've had nothing from us for ages. You've had hardly anything to talk about. You've had hardly anything to look forward to. But now, here is this box. Here is this box that we knew would do well. But what we didn't account for is the fact that in the run-up to this box, you'll have been starved of new releases, you'll have been starved of news, starved of the things you look forward to, starved of the regular release schedule that we ourselves have set up to fully take advantage of the need for new products from our consumers. And then, Indomitus. I am convinced that has had a massive, massive impact on this. I think the way that things the way that things shook out, the way that things kind of went from that complete lack of normality and that complete lack of information, that complete lack of new stuff, it all perfectly built and built and built. And then Games Workshop came back and they started making stuff again. And then we started getting previews and releases. And amongst all of that was talk of a new edition, talk of a new box, of new models, of new everything. It all lined up so perfectly that the customers for Games Workshop just wanted fresh things. And then you don't just get fresh things, you get a ridiculously good value box with some really good looking models that is limited edition, that is pushed incredibly hard through marketing, that it's very much focused on not missing out on the best thing we've ever made. And all of it at the tail end of people sitting there going, man, I didn't think I'd ever want to spend money on stuff specifically, but I really want to spend money on hobby stuff, and there's nothing to spend it on. It's just the perfect little jigsaw that all came together to result in Indomitus being vastly popular, ridiculously popular, to a degree that Games Workshop clearly did not expect in any way. And I genuinely think, that if this box had been released in a different time, if this box had been released without the current background of, things like lockdown and just general uncertainty and the halt on production, I don't think it would have done this well, personally. I suspect it would have still done very well. I'm not saying it would have flopped or failed or anything stupid like that, no. It still would have sold out. It still would have sold out quickly. Would it have sold out instantly? Would it have sold out to the extent that Games Workshop felt that they needed to do a made-to-order thing for it? I actually don't think it would have ended up this way. I don't think that would have been a step that they'd taken had we not had that complete halt on everything we're used to for a solid couple of months before the build-up to this release, because I think that contributed a lot to the attitude of us as consumers going into this release. Really, it's all just conjecture, obviously, and it's just kind of musings and thoughts, but I'd be interested to hear what you guys think in terms of the biggest contributing factors to this box being as popular as it has been. I'd be interested to see whether you think that has played a part, whether you actually did sit there feeling yourself kind of go, well, I don't know if I'd normally be bothered all that much, but actually everything has just kind of worked towards this feeling more important than it would otherwise do. I'd be interested to hear what you think in the comments down below. Jesus, this has gone on for a bit. Thank you very much for watching. Please, if you would like to subscribe, if you like what you've seen, well, you probably don't like what you've seen. I know what I look like. If you just like the general atmosphere that we have around here, then it'd be very nice to have you. It is, of course, your choice entirely. You don't have to subscribe, and realistically, it doesn't do a huge amount anymore, but it'd be nice if you did. Then, yeah, you can do that if you would like. There's other links to follow, Patreon, other videos, that kind of thing. And of course there is an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. I leave it entirely up to you. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.